welcome our chief guest for today's valedictory session, Professor Pradeep Singh Bari, sir, on behalf of Center for Comparative Public Law, Himachal Pradesh National Law University. I welcome Honorable VC Ma'am and all the dignitaries participants for today's lesson. To start with the program, first of all, I would like to invite all the dignitaries to light the lamp. As per Upanishad, Asoma Sadgamaya Tamsoma Dvaitgamaya, which means lead me from light to truth, lead me from darkness to light. Now, I would like to invite the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Ma'am, Professor Nishta Jaswani, to facilitate our chief guest, Professor Pradeep Singh Bari. It's time to recite Pulgi composed by Honorable Vice Chancellor, Ma'am. Let's stand up and recite the Pulgi of the famous. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Under the leadership of Honorable Vice Chancellor of Himachal Pradesh National Law University, Professor Dishka Biswal, ma'am. University achieving new milestone in teaching and research. Ma'am is very conscious and keen to develop a culture of dialogue and discussion, which is instrumental in the development of shared knowledge and skills. As German philosopher Jürgen Habermas emphasized upon communicative reason and communicative action. She is not only an able and efficient administrator, but also an excellent teacher of law who has guided and saved the lives of many students throughout her life journey as a teacher. Ma'am has been a teacher since last 36 years. Honorable Vice Chancellor, ma'am has a specialization in constitutional law, administrative law, human rights, and environmental law. She has authored over 50 research papers and practiced 4 books. The CBP has been extremely successful. The credit goes to her insightful leadership. I remember from the Platonic dialogue of Republic when Plato conceived the idea of philosopher king. That is a king who is wise as well as courageous. It is a rare combination which is not usually prevalent in our conventional reality. Man is a personification of philosopher queen who is transforming the fate of this institution by developing proper infrastructure for teaching and research. Of course, there is a long way to go, but we hope for the best, and hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. To quote Andy Dufresne from Sasan Pillars. With these words, now I invite Professor Dishka Swalman to deliver welcome address to the audience. Thank you.
It is very, having many travels to this class. Attending Delhi University Law Center, Vice Chancellor, National University Lucknow, Chancellor of IMS University, Day-12. Swan, teacher, coordinator of this program, and my dear participants. We have deliberated a lot regarding the topic, the theme of this capacity building program. Now this is the time when we have to depart. This is human nature. And these are human relations. That once we meet, we keep everybody in our hearts and we carry further this. And I hope all the participants, they enjoyed each and every moment here and learned a lot. And I hope not that you have to keep your learning within yourself. My request, my advice to all of you, please spread it. Very quickly birthday. Knowledge is something as much as you spend it. And I think you are teachers also. And you will be able to use this learning, this knowledge while imparting education to your students. Elders are always used to deliver sermons. Same is true of me. But I always make one promise that I will not say something which I have not imbibed in my life. This capacity building program has peak capacity building program, not capacity creating the program, the capacity, the capability, which is already innate in you, which you have earned after years education. We try to build it up further. This polishing is always, and not today, Socrates long back said that unexamined life is not worth living. So you need to But there were the modes of examining yourself. You may think in introspection as teachers. Are you updated? Whether what you are imparting to your students is right? You know, if lack of knowledge is there, I understand you cannot be able to. But if you give false knowledge, it is a sin. And you should not commit this sin. And another thing, once we are starting, that please, not your duty as law teachers merely to teach law. And don't think that you have to talk about values and ethics only to the school children at every level. It is required. You have to be role models for your students. My request to you, keep on building, developing, rejuvenating your skills, and at the same time, because you are part and parcel of any organization where you have to perform number of duties, including updating the curriculum. So that means first goal is update yourself, polish your skills. At the same time, polish the skills of the students. Most important is your role. Make your students good human beings. And I said I don't say anything which I don't do myself. Because it is always easy to preach than to practice. First practice, first we do models, and then think about yours. And every time when you do something, when you have any kind of interaction, and when you evaluate your students, just put yourself into their shoes. Please, no need to be sympathetic with the students. You have to be firm when you have to evaluate them. But compassion and empathy always the place. You might have your own problems professionally, personally. You have to wear masks. When you are in the professional life, you have always to wear a mask. You have to control your attitudes. You might have certain negative innate traits, but you must make the best efforts even to remove those traits. Yes, either anger or lethargy. There's no place for these if you are teachers. I always say what Chanakya said, शिक्षक कभी साधारण नहीं होता. प्रलय और निर्माण उसकी गोद में है. You are the founders. New civilization. And you have to create new foundation, not only for the society, for the nation, but also for the universe. Thus, since Vedic times, we talk about the slogan of Vasudhaiva. And if I just refer to National Education Policy 2020, our dream to be Vishwa. And major role is to be performed by the teachers. And there is no substitute of your hard work, commitment, sincerity, dedication, devotion, honesty. Many a time the young teachers will tell me, look ma'am, we have this problem, we have that problem, or we have some peer pressure, or we have some peer opposition, peer conspiracy, or the authorities don't behave well with us. अर्जुन की तरह सिर्फ चिड़िया की आंख पे आपकी नजर है. This is your ultimate aim. And I always is to cite a verse. मैंने भी कभी लिखा था, मुझे बड़ा दुख होता था कि ये peer pressure क्यों है, ये colleagues क्यों आपको तंग करते हैं, ये authorities आपके against क्यों है. Then I had to console myself and I wrote this. And I always remember this. And I always quote it. ए बंदे मुझे मिटाने को तुझे खुदा बनना होगा. ए बंदे मुझे मिटाने को तुझे खुदा बनना होगा. खुदा ही बन गया मुझे मिटने का. Remain in touch with this university. You are always welcome. You will remain in our hearts. God bless you. Sarve Bhavantu.
Thank you, ma'am, for fascinating words. I still remember your session when you said that access to justice can't be understood without having access to self, access to family, and access to social balance. These are so beautiful words, and you have expressed it beautifully. Now, I'm talking about my teacher, Dr. Chanchal Kumar Singh, Associate Professor of Law HPNLU Shimla. He is our captain, and he is that captain who gives credits to his players when his team is performing well. And when he finds his team is in vulnerable situation, he takes all the responsibilities. And that's why I remember Chinese philosopher Laos who said, a leader is best when people barely knows he exists. Dr. Chanchal sir works tirelessly and encourages every one of us to perform the best of our capabilities. And I would like to invite him to share the conclusive findings of this particular program. Thank you, sir.
Respected teacher, and I say first mentor, see me and teaching at respected work harder, especially for us, for other us. I first met and here only. Basic. This is our second capacity. Funded by ICC Shahar. Have been trying to work with answer and supported us not only in respect of resources, but more importantly, in academic respect, how to do it well. Establishing this center, we are still trying to establish, we haven't made a mark or achieved something. One of the purpose was, can we gather by interacting, conversing, so one of the best thing conclusion that is given impression that there are many people who are working with their interest, some direction guidance. Affected almost North India is represented. So this is a very idea in the sense that we are encouraged that we have to work hard, more harder work. The devising, establishing, and alternative or method of for and so that has been one of the great conclusions. As far as the sessions of this So, distance, converged with pressure resource persons, we started with education, and hey, we are ending this program. This program is ending, this project is ending. So we are still trying to establish this project in a better manner. We have no cooperation, no supporting. So we are ending with, again, the living legend, Sir Pradeep Singh Pai. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yesterday, Professor Pradeep Singh Pai sir has taken a session with us. And we are not aware about many of the environmental issues which are related to existential crisis of humankind. And this project to save this planet is the biggest project. Because whatever project we can undertake without life, all projects are meaningless. Professor Pradeep Singh Pai sir is an impeccable teacher and a keen learner of new ideas. His youthfulness and energies are radiant since he loves to learn and unlearn every day and tries to practice it, those ideas into reality. As Scottish philosopher David Hume says, that all the important developments that humankind ever achieved have become possible due to passion and commitment to transcend the habitual boundaries of existence and to see every phenomenon with fresh eyes and a sense of wonder. Professor Gurdeep sir has broken the shackles of conservative scholarship and undertook the most meaningful project as a green jurist, I call it. And he has transformed the environmental jurisprudence in India, not only through his writings, but also by conscious activism. Sir has almost 45 years of teaching experience, and he is a distinguished professor of law and served as a vice chancellor of Dr. Rama Mohan Lohiya National Law University. He believes, as he made the statement yesterday only, that a teacher who ceases to be a student also ceases to be a teacher. And this statement is apt to describe his dynamic persona and his humility, his always expectation to learn something new. With these words, I would like to invite you for this valedictory address. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the big words which have been used. I find myself too small to fit into these people. Anyhow, it's my real pleasure, our privilege, to be here in this university. Whenever I visit this university, I feel I'm back into my home. Amongst my own people, your Honorable Vice Chancellor, whom I know since long time, and amongst my so many students who are now a part of the family. I'm really thrilled to interact with all of you. Yes, we had very interesting interactions. I'm sure that you must have fully relished all these sessions, all the talks, which were delivered by scholars of repute, not only at the national level, but at the international level. And I'm really confident that you must have learned and sharpened your capacity building skills. The very purpose that is perhaps if you have really drawn lessons from various sessions as to how to build Gandhi or myself as stated, not only your capacity, it is not creation of capacities, all we are competent. All of us are teachers of law, we are knowledgeable and through these programs, we are really sharpening and strengthening our capacity. It is a continuous process. Not only I plead before my colleagues that a teacher always remains his. I'm adding to it with a further statement, which is more important than the first. The teacher cannot afford to cease to be a continuous researcher. It is the first duty of the teacher to remain updated with the current knowledge of the subject. I've already learned that law is a very, very organic subject, more so international. Again, it's everything. They are ready new developments which are expanding the dimensions of the legal, not only at the national level, but international. So, it is through research that you keep yourself updated. Only then it will be possible to make the teaching qualitative. Unless it is updated teaching, then research teaching simply cannot make it qualitative. We are here to build your capacities for this quality teaching, which you have witnessed yesterday. The Sustainable Development Goal. So essential for a better world, for a better planet. Well, I'm not going to back to whatever you have gained here. I only wanted to add that pluralism, legal pluralism, the very motive of this capacity building is not only at the national level, which you have realized during all the sessions. It is much, much more at the international. I made yourself conversant with the DNA technology. The benefits of DNA. Let me emphasize today that this DNA is the foundation of the United Nations. The DNA of the international legal system is strong. But it's ready. It's undergoing changes. Variants are coming out slowly and gradually, as you have seen recently in the case of COVID, right? Mutation is taking place by virtue of DNA. You know, that is happening very fast, very fast. Daily it's undergoing changes. Look at, you have seen the pluralism and access as far as environmental losses during my talk on environmental justice. Today, I only give you a brief view of access to international justice. Look at your human rights. Standing daily, not only limited to the conventional international covenants, in all areas, whether it is empowerment of women, whether it is elimination of racial discrimination, and all the conventions, rights of the child, again, you have a convention. You have a convention on the rights of people with disability. Terminology has changed. I never liked the word disability. I always preach and plead that they are specially abled persons. They are not suffering with disability. They have special abilities. Well, in all the areas you have to. But the main problem is that of access. We do not have any one court on human rights. We have to take to International Court of Justice, which also has the access problem. We all are aware only a state can take the case to International Court of Justice against another state. That too, if both the states have accepted the jurisdiction. The problem here is that states are making declarations well in advance for accepting the jurisdiction of International Court. Whenever a dispute arises, court acquires jurisdiction on the basis of the principle of reciprocity. You have understood the concept of sustainable development. The court will assume jurisdiction over the dispute only if the dispute falls within the terms of acceptances of the declaration made by the disputing states. The dispute falls outside, court has no jurisdiction. Tragedy here is the states have made self-reserving reservation. They have excluded all the disputes essentially falling within the jurisdiction of the state from the courts. If you read US declaration, US started this way. Countries only follow suit. If you look into our declaration, we have conferred jurisdiction of the court with one hand and taken everything away with the other. So many reservations. We are not exception. General practice. Here is the problem now. In international. Access is very difficult. Who has the power to deliver advisory opinion? But look, who has the access? Only General Assembly, Security Council, other organs of the United Nations, and specialized agencies with the authorization of journalists. Look at the problem surrounding access to even advisory jurisdiction of the International Court of Now, coming back to the human rights debate, when we talk of access in human rights, we have regional human rights. We have European Court of Human Rights. We have American Court of Human Rights. We have African. And whenever I used to participate in SAR conferences, did it before the states. I have a South Asian court, human, not the regions. There are regional human rights courts. Why not? In our region. President of SAR, Mr. Chadha, was my very good friend. The former president of SAR University of South Asian University. Now, being founder member of that university, founder member of the governing body, I used to rather teach before Chadha that he should make at least all efforts as a scholar of economics, as a scholar, multidisciplinary scholar, for the establishment of SAR court. When there were problems, the other state members differ, and the court could not be established as other regions will do. Ask me very interesting question, what about international crimes? If an individual is guilty and becomes victim of the commission of international crime committed by a state, where should we go? What appellation? National criminal was established in the year 19. It has many state parties by now. Many state parties. But then, who can invoke the jurisdiction of International Criminal Court? Only a state party against another state. But this time there is an improvement. The jurisdiction of International Criminal Court can be this is the office. This is prosecutor. Look at the improvement now. Or International Court of Justice access. Now, the prosecutor can also ignite the jurisdiction of International Criminal. It has jurisdiction over war crimes. Genocide, yes. What else? Crimes against humanity. Now you will ask me a question. So you gave these courses on environmental justice. Are environmental crimes covered within the ambit of crimes against humanity? So far, International Criminal Court had no opportunity to give verdict on this issue. The problem here is, if an individual wants to invoke the jurisdiction of criminal court, ICC, we have the standing. We can move through the prosecutor. Now look at the problems of the problem. Court has various chambers, ICC, pre-trial chamber, trial chamber, court of appeals, appellate chamber. Prosecutor, while igniting the jurisdiction of ICC, has to take the authorization of pre-trial chamber first. The court reads the case through the prosecutor. The prosecutor has to investigate, authorization of pre-trial chamber is necessary. You will file investigation. Thereafter, after complying with formalities, the trial then appeal to the appellate chamber. At the access part, access to international criminal justice now has been facilitated enormously vis-a-vis access to international court. And to add further, International Criminal Court enforcement mechanism also. ICJ decides the case, only enforcement body is the Security Council. Read the charter, the words used there in art. The Security Council may, if it deems necessary, give effect to the decision of International Court. It is not bound to. Many judgments of International Court of Justice remain unimplemented. First started with United States itself. There was military activities around the Nicaragua. Students are covered. Now, International Court of Justice decided the case against United States. It was first challenged the jurisdiction of the court. Court decided, no, it has the jurisdiction over the dispute. Present there. And I witnessed the US delegation gate crashing the room of the judges and telling them if the court went ahead to hear the case on merits, the US would not become a party to the proceeding. That was not hollow. United States did not participate in the proceedings before the court on merits. It decided on access path. Attack the further current problems. Court delivered the judgment. US refused to comply with it, and it remains unimplemented. It started from here. Then the same was repeated many times thereafter. The problems not only with the access, but enforcement problems with the access. Now coming back to International Criminal Court. There, the enforcement problem has been mitigated. Our court itself has been imposed the punishment. The form of fine and imprisonment. Both ICJ and ICC are situated at the same place, the Hague. Whenever I visit Hague, I not only visit ICJ, but even International Criminal Court now, which is functioning. And ICC is now a busy court. It has a detention center also, there at the Hague itself. But learn a lot. When you visit International Criminal, the judgment of the World Court have been in World Court itself. So, unparalleled. Dearest friends, whenever we talk of excess, there are tremendous problems in the international judicial. Of course, what is difficult, but the improvements are being made. And here is a top player which demands scholarly research, suggestions, but only if the model is convincing to the states, they would accept, and perhaps the accessibility to international bodies can be. My dear friends, I'm so glad to interact with you and to learn from your questions raised during interactions. Some of you, exceptionally him, told me that once he was a student, now he is facing social problem. Then, sir, the access to yesterday with the solution from our side, I think that was convincing. We learn from each other. Learning is a continuous process. We are all students. And I have really and gladly, very frankly, from the court of my heart, my interactions with all. And I wish all of you the very best in your career. And remember, you can rise as much as you want to, provided you make sincere efforts, very positive efforts in this direction. Thank you so much for hearing me so patiently.
Teacher is always teacher.
Always. Thank you, sir. Sir has beautifully raised the question of access in the list of law. And as a teacher of jurisprudence, when I look at the language of Chaunos, who says international law is merely a positive morality. In fact, international law has achieved many things. Now, I would like to invite Professor Gurdeep Singh Baji sir and Professor Mr. Jaswal ma'am to distribute these certificates among the participants.
You have really earned by listening to all of us, not having the job, or hard circumstances.
पार्टिसिपेंट्स की फोटो अच्छी आती है
हमारी फोटो बहुत है
First, Miss Neha Agarwal.
बस आप
Subham. Neha is from Osmania University, Hyderabad.
Thank you, Sarisha. It's my pleasure to meet you.
Subham. Miss Kalika. Kalika from IP.
हमारी
Miss Shivani next from HPNLU. Miss Renuka. From HPNLU. Miss Vanita Sharma from HPNLU. Mr. Arvind Singh Kushwaha from Delhi University. Mr. Sachin Hitkari from HPNLU Shimla. Miss Rachita Agarwal from IP University, Delhi. Mr. Dhaval Shankar Srivastava from IP University, Delhi. Mr. Vijendra Kumar Singh from HPNM Shimla. Bhavesh from HPNM Shimla. Mr. Hemraj, Technical Support.
very well, very well.
Dr. Chandrika from HPNM Shimla. Dr. Pushpanjali Sood from HPNM Shimla. Dr. Sefali Dikshit from HPNM Shimla. Ms. Navitya Tanwar from HPNM Shimla.
Mr. Kumar.
there are 70 participants. Outside participants, children or
जगह पे लगा देगा। Thank you, बेटा।
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
You're that व्यक्ति वाले। किसका कुर्सी का?
It's a very tricky job.
Thanks.
Now I would like to invite Mr. S. L. Jaswal, sir, for proposing vote of thanks.
Professor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Chancellor of ISPST Dehradun, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mr. Jaswal, National Education, dear participants. When this program was started, there was a lot of discussion how to proceed on this program. And many rounds of discussion got held in the chambers of Honorable Vice Chancellor. Resource person from all over India, those who are having expert interpret, we have identified. Chanchakmal worked very hard and his team right from the beginning. And Dr. Chanchal tried his best. Get the best of best of person from the country. He managed somehow then to be here in the campus. But some could not be present for the program. So they participated in this program as a source person to online. If I see the success of this program, it cannot be explained. First, friends, I also took one session, the way they interacted. Not only with me, with all of the source persons there. And that I like to share that for the participants. Thanks for your cooperation that you have cooperated like anything. And thank you, sir, Professor Baisa. You have taken your time, accepted our invitation, and fought it and shared your experience with the past.
Thank you very much.
But we are honored. That results in National University, no program can be successful without the active participation of all of us. Chief the team leaders, leading from the. Thank you, ma'am, for this. This is due to Chanchakmal and his team for doing that. And Tejendra, I feel of this. And all those who have participated in this program. Thank you very much.
Now we have to stand up in the honor of national anthem. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for making this program.
Participants stay there.